What's going on, guys? I'm back once again. I'm getting pretty excited that the NFL draft is in about 8 days now, since it is 10 o'clock at night and it's almost midnight. So 8 days to the draft, the first round. I'm pretty excited for that. And Thursday night the NFL schedule comes out, so that's something to look forward to. But I'm here to talk about some of the possible steals in the draft. I don't know if I'd call them steals because I'm predicting most of these guys are going second to the fourth round, but there's some guys that aren't getting a lot of, publicity on ESPN. But alright, anyways, so let's start off with Stepfan Taylor out of Stanford. He is currently the 8th running back overall on the big board in the draft, and he kind of reminds me of a Jarvis Green-Ellis type guy, or maybe Jacquizz Rodgers, or maybe a little bit slower Darren Sproles. But he's well known for his catching ability out of the backfield, which has really become a big part of these spread offense schemes. Like the Chip Kelly is coming in for the Eagles, and we have the Redskins in their spread offense, and the 49ers in their spread offense. But one of Stepfan Taylor's biggest issues is he has trouble finding the lanes, cutback lanes at times, and he sometimes gets kind of worked up when it comes to when the offensive line creates more than one hole. He's like, he doesn't know where to go. So he's 5'9", 215 pounds, which is pretty short for a running back, or any position for that matter. But I mean, his weight's fairly good, so he does have some, he's similar to maybe a Toby Gerhart as far as the height. Jacquizz Rodgers isn't that big, but I mean, that could be a problem in the backfield. You can't see over the offensive line too well when you're trying to follow your blocks. You don't always know where you're going. But I feel like, if they take him in the fourth round, that'll definitely be a steal. I mean, he's a solid guy. He played with Andrew Luck. He played with Toby Gerhart when he was at Stanford. He was his backup. So, I mean, he's got a lot of experience with other guys in the NFL. So, alright, the next guy I'm going to look at is Le'Veon Bell out of Michigan State. His name came up a lot up in 2011. And he's a big every down back who can bull rush the defense and just kind of put his shoulders down and knock everyone over. He's 6'2", 230 pounds. And he ran a 4.56 40, which is pretty quick for a running back. And I'm actually going to check how that compares up to the other running backs here quick. I mean, to run a 4.5, that's faster than any of the quarterbacks, including Geno Smith. And let me just see here. Running backs. Alright, well, obviously the fastest running back is going to be a little bit quicker. But as far as a 4.5, it's solid for a running back, but it's not, it's not elite speed. But with a guy his size, that's definitely something that you want to look for in a running back, someone who can stay healthy. Because, the running back position, hardly any of those guys last more than 5 years, 6 years. And he's considered a power runner. He breaks tackles all the time. He's got quick feet, but he doesn't have a lot of acceleration, which could be an issue. But he's also known for his leaping abilities. When he jumped over a bunch of those defenders the past 2 years, a lot of those top 10 players on ESPN. And I definitely compare him to an Aaron Foster or Steven Jackson size, but Aaron Foster type of runner, where he's not all about the cutbacks, but more of one and go kind of running back. So he had just under 1,800 yards, which was just ahead of Monty Ball from Wisconsin in this current season. So that's definitely something that adds on his resume. So, alright, well, that's two running backs to definitely consider. He's probably going to go in the maybe second round, early third round, but I don't see him going any later than that. But I feel like he'll definitely benefit the team that drafts him this season pretty soon. It won't be one of those like, oh, let's put him on the bench for the first year and then we'll start him in a year or two. He'll probably get a few starts maybe the second half of the season. So then we have Ryan Swoop, who is a wide receiver out of Texas A&M, which he had a bunch of good quarterbacks. He had Ryan Tannehill and obviously Johnny Manziel, the Heisman winner, and he's a big guy. I mean, he's 6 foot, 200 pounds, runs a 4.28 40, and he's got a 37 vertical, which is pretty good for a wide receiver nowadays, considering someone with that size. I mean, he's no Calvin Johnson, but for somebody that 6 foot, one of the fastest receivers in the draft, that's definitely someone you want to look at. He's projected to go third round, but if you get him mid to late third round, if he drops to the fourth, which is probably not going to happen, because by then a lot of the teams already have their utility players, their offensive tackles, their defensive players that they need, and usually late third, early fourth, fifth, sixth, and so on rounds is when a lot of the guys like the receivers and the not so elite tight ends or the running backs will start to go, which is why they're considered steals in the first place. But some of the attributes that Ryan Swoop has, which could make him a possible steal, is the long arms he has, which is obviously great. It's probably better for a quarterback to have long arms, but if you have long arms and the guy defending you, there you go. You got a good vertical, you got good speed. He's also really good off the line. He's got a good burst off the line, which is pretty good for running routes. And then quick feet, and he's known for his ability to shake off defenders. So obviously that's pretty big. I mean, we'll have to see how he does when he tries to run across the middle against some of these elite safeties. But I mean, college NFL. That's why I'm trying to predict who these steals are. It's really hard. But and he's really good at reading defenses, and he always plays to the whistle, which I feel are two underrated statistics and attributes to any offensive player. Because if you look at guys like Deshaun Jackson, or who else doesn't always, maybe like a Mike Wallace type guy, those really quick guys that are kind of cocky and feel like they're better than everyone, and if they're not getting their way, then they're going to half-ass the play. That's definitely something you look for in a draft pick. Someone that'll play to the whistle and not stop until the play is completely over. And the biggest issue with Ryan Swoop is, since he's not the biggest guy as far as his weight, he's not very physical at the line. So, if you get a guy like Namdi or maybe Darrelle Revis or some other press corner, you're going to have problems at the line of scrimmage. They're going to bump him within 5 yards, and he might get off his route, and that might throw off everything. But, I mean, he's projected to go third round. I feel like he's worth at least a second round pick. But, I mean, again, it depends on the team's needs, mostly. Who's going to need a wide receiver in the third round? I mean, let's see here. Obviously, the Jets are going to need a receiver. The Bills are very likely to need a receiver. I don't know how long they're going to wait, considering they need a quarterback, offensive tackle. Wide receiver in the third round would probably be good for them. Steelers, it's possible. Probably not. I mean, they did lose Mike Wallace, and they almost lost Emmanuel Sanders, but they finally got him. The Rams could always use someone. So there's definitely a bunch of teams in the third round that could take him. I don't see him going any earlier than the third round, which is why he could be a big steal come a few years, and we realize, wow, that guy was better than he was projected. Alright, so the final guy I want to talk about is a quarterback, and it's Matt Scott out of Arizona. He was Nick Foles' teammate when Nick Foles was there 2 years ago, and he is currently the third fastest quarterback. He ran a 4.63 40, which is right behind EJ Manuel and Geno Smith, and he's 6'2", 215 pounds, which isn't like great for a quarterback. I guess it's not ideal, but then again, if you look at Russell Wilson, his time is nearly identical to Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson ran a 4.55, so I mean, just over a tenth of a second slower than Russell Wilson. But he'd definitely be comparable to Russell Wilson. He played all of 2012 was his first full season, and he completed 3,600 yards, 27 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and over 60% of his passes were completed. And on a team like that, those are some very good numbers without having an elite offense. I mean, they finished 8-5 in the regular season, so I mean, that's obviously not very good. So anytime you have a quarterback with a team that is not elite and he's still putting up those kind of numbers, that's something you want to look at when you're trying to predict elite players. And obviously his dual threat, he can run, he can pass. That's obviously becoming the big trend in the NFL now with the spread offense. So I could definitely see him. He's projected to go in the 3rd or 4th round. He'll probably go in the 4th round, I'm going to say. I mean, if I'm saying, I doubt this, but if the Eagles don't draft anyone in the 1st round, or like they're supposed to, I don't know, apparently they're drafting Geno Smith, but I don't think that's going to happen. If they don't get Geno or EJ Manuel, it's very likely the Eagles take him early 3rd, maybe early 4th, if he's still there. It's possible if the Bills don't get Ryan Nassib, they could take him, or Arizona Cardinals, because everyone knows Carson Palmer's not going to be there real long. I feel like Matt Scott will be the guy to sit behind a quarterback for a year or two and then come out and play pretty well. Yeah, so he'll probably go in the 4th round, I'd guess. So, alright guys, well, that's about it as far as my projecting the steals of the NFL draft, which is in 8 days now. I'm pretty excited. I'm sure you guys are. So let me know what you think about this and maybe any other steals or even upset, like bust picks if you think there's any picks. You know, Geno Smith, he could be a bust. Even any like the 1st round guys, they go through their pro days and they go through all these workouts for these scouts, and they think, oh, these guys are guaranteed to be pretty good. I mean, Deion Jordan, he was recruited to be, I think, a tight end at Oregon, and he only played so many games at Oregon as an offensive outside linebacker. So, I mean, it's possible he could be a bust. That defensive end from BYU, from Ghana, who only played, 19 starts or something. I mean, chances are he'll probably evolve in the, not like Pokemon, but, he'll evolve over time in the NFL and definitely be good. But those guys have busts written all over them. So let me know what you guys think, and I look forward to hearing from it. See you later.